going on, wonderful world of YouTube? It's Orange Beanie Guy, and we're back at it again with another solo podcast. My comrade Mitchell is off doing bigger and better things, aka school. It's kind of swamped his schedule, so not sure when we're going to be seeing him pop back on here. Me and him have been talking to see if we can work something out. At bare minimum, maybe see some more guests on this podcast, but for right now, I'm trying to, at least keep some content coming out there. I think I can hold my own, hopefully, without Mitchell. But, I guess that's up for you guys to decide in the end. But, today I want to talk about a certain game, maybe delve into its franchise a little bit, because I feel like not a whole lot of people out there, at least where I come from, had this game. I ended up picking it off my cousins because they had no clue what the fuck the game was at the time. But I'm talking about Digimon World, which, first off, I feel like not enough love is given to Digimon. I mean, obviously, Pokemon was way more successful than them, but Digimon was really fucking cool. It had its own TV show, it had really cool games, it had the little, I don't even know what you want to call them, like little keychain games that you could carry around with you, and you'd have to take care of your Digimon, and you can evolve them on that. I think that was a little bit before my time, now that I think about it. But I mean, I'd still love to get one of those, if they're still out and about. I think they also had a card game. I think I owned one Digimon card, and there may have been one kid at my school that actually played it. But, I digress. Digimon was really cool, and I think a lot of the characters in it are actually way cooler than the majority of the Pokemon that Nintendo keeps shitting out. I mean, the fucking toucan, Sun and Moon, I haven't played that one, but what the fuck's up with the toucan? There was no inspiration. I mean, I guess you could say the thing about, like, most of the bird Pokemon, like Pidgey, it's just, I don't know, like a little finch and fucking unpheasant? Is that what its name is? Unpheasant? Just a fucking a pheasant? I mean, you could like spice it up a little bit. I don't know. Now I'm just getting sidetracked. But Digimon World was a role-playing game where you were a small child in what I'm assuming to be Tokyo, running around with your friends who all had those little keychain Game Boy games, whatever you wanted to call them, and they were fighting each other as friends. Like, I think the way this game started off is one boy had a metal Greymon, and the other had a metal Mummymon, and they connect their keychains, and it goes in this crazy, just like CG animated cutscene where Metal Greymon and Mummymon were like duking it out, and like big explosion happens, and it's like Digimon World, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm invested in this game. So starting off, great intro, great music to back it into, but you boot up the game, you start your new file, and it asks you, it's like, what's your name, blah blah blah, and once you fill that out, a little old man walks out. At least you think he's an old man at first. Turns out he's a Digimon called Digimon. I think I said that right. And he's just like, oh, do you like the day or do you like the night? And you're just like, what the fuck, old man? What kind of question is that? And just like, I guess I like the night. What do you want from me, man? And then he's like, oh, that's a good answer. And then he just kind of hobbles away. And you're like, that's really weird. And then, like, after you answer that, it throws you back into a CG cutscene. You're like, okay, I guess I'm not going to play the game. And then the boy walks up to his room, unlocks his door to go to his apartment, which I assume his parents are living at because he's like a 10-year-old in this game, I think. And then he picks up his little Digivice, I guess let's call it that. The little Game Boy keychain looking thing. And his Digimon's like freaking the fuck out. And he's just like, what? Like, what the fuck, man? I don't know what's going on. And then it just like, and he gets like sucked into his game. And you're like, oh shit, now it's about to go down. So then you go back to, or I guess you get to, the digital world, if you will, which in this case is called File Island, if I'm correct. So you spawn in, you're surrounded by all these Digimon and the old man Digimon. They're just like, oh, what the fuck? It's a person. We finally did it. And the boy's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. What the hell's going on, man? And then old man Digimon's like, calm down. He's like, what the fuck are you? And then all the Digimon come around and like explain like, oh, blah, 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 Digimon plot, etc. Apparently, depending on what you told this old man Digimon at the beginning, the day or night thing, decides what Digimon you get. Which You could get Agumon, which is kind of like, I guess you could say he's like the Pikachu of the digital world. He's kind of a flagship character. Or you could get Gabumon, kind of like the, I don't know, maybe I'll get flack for saying this, like the Bulbasaur of Pokemon. Doesn't get as much love as he should, but he's fucking rad, so I don't know. Personally, I went with Knight because I think Gabumon is kick-ass because he has an evolution of a dog form. I think it's Garurumon, and I couldn't tell you much past that, but that's badass. So this is where we really get into the meat and potatoes of this game. From here, the plot's essentially like, oh, everything's getting destroyed, and for whatever reason, all of the Digimon in this world are getting aggressive, except for this one little small town called File City that you're in. So Gigimon's like, hey man, we need you to get out there and bring back all these Digimon. Like, we don't know why the fuck they're being upset, but we need to do something about it. And you and Gabumon, in my case, were just like, okay man, we could totally do that. So then it develops into this weird style of gaming where you're taking care of your Digimon while also having to, I guess, train him in a lot of different aspects. For example, when you boot it up, there's a little farm, but it's not your typical farm. It's a meat farm, and it's not like, oh look, there's cows. It's like, oh, it's cuts of steak growing out of the ground. So every day you'd have to go up there and get meat for your Digimon because they're going to be hungry every single day. And it's really interesting because depending on the Digimon that you have at the time, which we'll get into later, depicts how much food you have to get. And you can't always get all your food from the farm, which evolves into something else completely different. So you're getting your food. You got to feed your Digimon when he gets hungry. You have to make sure he's rested. Like all throughout this game, your Digimon's giving you little key signs, like almost like a speech bubble will pop over his head. He's like, a little meat will pop up and he's like, oh, I'm hungry. Or like a little teardrop, which is kind of like, oh, I'm tired. The Z's put him to sleep. You can also have angry emotions too. I'm not really sure what brings about that. Or like sick emotions. He'll have like a pill or like a vaccination pop up where he's like, I need some medicine. And then also he poops. Like, I mean, obviously if you feed a Digimon, he's got to poop. So you could be in the middle of a training, which by the way, it's like HP, MP, attack, defense, intelligence, and speed. I believe I hit them all. So you could be in the middle of training. You're just like training them like, oh yeah, we're getting stuff done. And he's running on the track. And like the way it works is like you click on it for him to start training. And then you can let him complete the training, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, for instance, there's a boulder that he has to push, and he can push it for basically like 2 to 3 minutes and get like, let's say, 10 experience and health. And you're like, okay, why would I wait that long? So like, you click it to start and click it to end immediately, and he still gets the same XP, and it's like, what the fuck? You think like, if he pushed it longer, he'd get something more, but you know, I digress. Anyways, if you're in the middle of training one of these Digimon, and they get the poop sign, you're fucked. You can't back out. You can't be like, oh no, wait, don't train. They're gonna shit. They're gonna shit right there in the middle of the training ground, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then your fucking Digimon gets mad at you, and he like growls at you, and he's like, what the fuck, man? Why'd you let me poop here? And then you have to be like, you literally have like a gratitude button, I guess is the right way of saying it, and a scold button. So like, obviously, when the Digimon shits itself, you gotta be like, what the fuck, man? You just shit in the middle of the training ground. And that shit doesn't go away ever. It stays there until like you get somebody to clean it up. Which is, it's just like, come on. Pooping? Are you serious? So you gotta like, you can't just like mindlessly like spam the train button. You have to be like carefully like watching him like, all right, I don't want him to shit himself, because weirdly enough, that shitting mechanic has backlash. That's not the word I want to use, but I think you get what I mean in the game. So let's say, for example, you're training this Digimon and you're just like, let him shit himself. I don't care. He can poop here. It's not my place. I'm going to let this dude shit, and I just want to get his HP and attack crazy up. Well, there's a little meter for your Digimon where it's just, it's the I shit myself meter, and you have to keep watch of that I shit myself meter, because if it gets full, your Digimon will evolve, which, you know, normally through training or fighting other Digimon, if your Digimon's gonna evolve, you're like, oh fuck yeah, I can't wait to see what Digimon I get. Which, it has a tons of different branching trees. So it's super exciting anytime your Digimon evolves, because you're like, oh, I wonder if I trained him differently. Or maybe I'm going to get like the guy I had last time. He was really good or whatever. But if this poop meter gets full, God, what is his name? I gotta look it up. I gotta look up the poop Digimon's name. I think it's like Sukamon, something like that. Oh God, no, it's not Sukamon. Whatever. You turn into a shit. Your Digimon turns into a yellow shit with 2 arms. And you want to know what he does? You want to know like the cool thing that the shit Digimon does? He eats shit. All that shit that you let pile up in the training ground, he gets to go back and eat it and clean it up so you never have to look at it again. How fucked up is that? Like, come on, man. And then you're like, oh, well, he's like, I don't know what the tiers are, 1, 2, 3. He's like a 4th tier guy. I think that means, I don't think it's I think that's champion and the last one's ultimate. So you're like, alright, I have a champion now, so maybe he's going to be better when I go to fighting. But no, he's not better. All he does is when you actually fight Digimon is he will fart on them, and then his ultimate power move, which you get a finisher move if you've been in a battle for long enough and have been dealing a lot of damage. You throw shit. You literally stop farting. You're like, you know what? You know what's really gonna kill this guy is if I huck my shit at him. Oh wait, no! It is Sukamon! Wait, Sukamon? It looks like Sukamon. If you don't know Japanese, it's Sukumon. Or if it's, if you do take Japanese, it's Sukamon or something like that. But no! He throws shit, he eats shit, he is a pile of shit. Which, for me, at least, whenever I got the shit Pokemon, I immediately killed him as soon as possible. Which leads me into another interesting mechanic in this game. Your Digimon fades away, I think is the way they put it, over time. So, let's say I didn't get Sukamon, and I got my Gabumon to go to Garurumon, and then he evolves into something else. Which, by the way, they don't follow their tree specifically. So, like, first thing that comes to mind when we think Digimon is like Agumon. It's like, okay, he turns into Greymon, who turns into Metal Greymon, who turns into War Greymon, who turns into Skull Greymon. That tree doesn't need to be followed. It can if you train him just right, which there's a ton of different like science and mechanics behind that I truly don't know all of. But he also has like 6 other guys that he could turn into. But, say for example, you get your champion. You're like, awesome, I finally got my champion. I've trained for such and such time. You really got to start cleaning up shop on the island, which you basically have to go out through the island, fight Digimon. You'll see every now and again a unique Digimon that's like not normally in that area. And you're like, oh, he's got to be something special. And if you fight him and defeat him, normally he comes back and joins your city. And if he joins your city, those Digimon essentially build on it, where you can start getting better meat for your farm. There's like fighting arenas, you can get doctors, you can get fountains, you can get electricity. There's a lot of shit you can get from these Digimon as you play them. But, oh god, is that a burp? Is it puke? I don't know. Ugh, I'm sorry. As I was saying, once you finally get your ultimate Digimon, if you will, who can't evolve anymore, you really start to have to, like, you gotta get out there and start fighting people, because their time doesn't last long for this world. I remember one time specifically, at least for me, I think it was Tyrannomon, which he looks like a T-Rex. He's like a red T-Rex. He's not, the most unique guy. As a matter of fact, I find myself getting him a whole lot. If you don't, like, critique the way you train your Digimon, he's kind of like a default that I found myself getting a whole lot. Not bad. A lot of health, a lot of attack, but, nothing crazy. And then one night, I was like, I gotta go talk to Digimon for plot reasons. So I talked to him, and then I, like, blah, 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 plot, and I walk back outside. And then a fucking Greymon, like, meets me in what is, quote-unquote, the safe area in File City. And he's like, hey, fuck you. And you're just like, excuse me? And he just starts fighting you. And I'm like, oh god! Like, my Digimon only has, like, his last life left. Which, by the way, your Digimon, if he dies in battle, you have 3 lives. So basically, you'll go back to Digimon, and he'll heal you and be like, don't do it again, or he'll turn into an egg. So I was like, oh fuck, like this is my last chance. So luckily I just had like a stupid amount of like HPs, MPs, attack buffs, all this stuff that the little boy can essentially chuck at his Digimon while they're fighting. You don't really have if unless you train them in intelligence, you don't have a whole lot of control in the fight. The Digimon does it on his own. That being said, if you increase intelligence, you can get it to the point where they know specific commands for attacks. But if you don't train them too much, you could just, say like attack as opposed to saying like Greymon use pepper breath or something like that. So we get into this big battle, and I've thrown everything I have out there. I hadn't trained the intelligence, so I was just spamming the attack button, like, please, Tyrannomon, just do this. And just like, he had like 10 HP left, and I ended up beating Greymon. Which, by the way, you don't see their health bar. You're just blindly attacking them, and it was so fucking stressful. And I took down Greymon, I was like, oh my god, this is my greatest accomplishment. I haven't had to fight anyone this big and bad. And like, right after it, it's like, okay, I'll join the city, blah, 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 blah. And like, normally when your Digimon evolves, the screen slightly freezes, and like, for just like half a second, and you're like, oh god, something's happening to my Digimon. And which can be evolution, it can be death, it can be a number of things. So that happens, I'm like, oh no, like, is he stressed out? Like, what happened? Is he gonna die on me? And then he starts evolving, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude, this is the first time I've ever got an ultimate, and I was like, I can't wait to see what he is. And like, this just like giant T-Rex dude like explodes, and I see a tiny little creature getting formed out of like the little remnants of digital code, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, why isn't it a big guy? And I get Metal Mummymon, the dude that was in the CG sequence from the very beginning of the game, and I lost it. I just like started running laps around my house, because fucking Metal Mummymon was so cool, dude! And he was ridiculously overpowered. It's like, you don't realize it, but once you get an ultimate Digimon, they are fucking kicking ass. I was one-shotting everyone. I can't even remember what his ultimate was, but I know it was ridiculous. But as awesome as Metal Mummymon was, I had him for like the shortest period of time. I couldn't tell you in real time what the hours were, but it was only a couple of days in game, and I didn't know at the time, because when I got when I got Metal Mummymon, I was like, oh damn, like, I really don't want anything to happen with it to him, especially because I have one life. So I wasn't going out and fighting all the people like I should have, and that's where I fucked up. Oh god, I can't remember if I was with my buddy with that. Me and my friend Eric used to play this game all the time, just because we were so excited to see what Digimon would come out whenever you were training him. But having him die was just like the worst thing ever, because it's not like Pokemon. It's not like, oh, they fainted, let's go heal them. After like the 3 deaths, they turn back into code and turn into an egg, which basically means like, oh fuck, you gotta start over. Which is just like, it's just like the biggest like swing to the nuts ever, because it's like, damn, it's like I took so long to get Metal Mummymon, and now I gotta start over. But at the same time, that's like the charm of it. Like, you're able to get a fresh start, you still have a bajillion other Digimon that you haven't seen yet and you're wanting to see. But I don't know, hopefully by the time you've gotten an ultimate, or a champion, or whatever ranked Digimon that is, you've built up your city a little bit. Instead of like sitting back and training, you've gone out and you've actually fought a couple Digimon, because that's going to help you in the long run. Like I was saying before, you're going to, instead of like tiny meats, you can upgrade it to like giant or sirloin, or fucking I don't even know what's past that. And like, that's going to allow your Digimon to be full longer. Or if you get like a bigger, bulkier Digimon, like my Tyrannomon that I had for a long time. I think that's Tyrannomon. Correct me if I'm wrong. But obviously being a T-Rex, he's going to want more food, so that helps him out in the long run. Oh, fuck. But I don't know, man. I think I just slowly turned into a little bit of a rant about this game. There's so many just like intricate mechanics to this game. It makes it really interesting, because it really is a different and refreshing experience every time you play, because you don't have that guy forever. You're not picking your starter and rolling with him. Like, he's going to die, he's going to go on, and you're going to have to get someone else. So you got to make that time last while you got him. You got to train him as much as you can in the shortest amount of time. Then you got to get there and start fighting Digimon. And then I haven't played anything past this. I think Digimon World, which I'm talking about the first one, for the PlayStation 1, for those who aren't sure what I'm actually talking about yet, I think they go on to make several more games. I know there's at least 3. I don't know much past that. I think there's 3 at least for the PlayStation 1. I don't know if they went into the PS2 or not. But then I feel like it loses a little bit of its charm, at least, where in the first one you were focused on your single Digimon and creating bonds and like managing his weight, making sure he's not shitting himself, taking him to the toilet, making sure everything was like balanced in a way but also imbalanced so that you could get different Digimon. They kind of adopted more of a Pokemon strategy. I guess it became more of a traditional RPG in the sense that, like, I don't know, the first thing that comes to mind is like Dragon Warrior Monsters. So it's like you run into a guy, there's 3 guys in front of you, and then you have 3 guys, or however many are in your party at the time, and you can be like, oh, attack, which does it on its own, or item, where you could heal someone, or command, where, again, if your Digimon are smart enough, you can kind of tell them what to do. Those I haven't played, and I haven't even completed the original Digimon. I haven't even seen the majority of the Digimon that I can get in that game, because when I did play it, I was a little kid, and, just kind of fell into rotation where it's like HP, attack, because that's what mattered as a kid, and you ended up getting Tyrannomon most of the times, and I could never get him to champion. I think I only have ever had 2 champions. One was Metal Mummymon, and one was a weird little alien in a space saucer. I have no clue what he was, but he wasn't the best of... I think, actually, now I think about it, I had one of the poop Digimon, because there's another one besides Sukumon. I think it's a Numemon, where he's like a green slime guy. He eats shit, too. But one of those 2 somehow got involved into this weird alien dude, but he was never anything to write home about. But about a year ago, I took a second crack at the game just to see, like, he's like, I'm an adult now, like, let's see what I can actually get done. And the amount of time that probably took me, like, weeks as a child, I got done in, like, 1 or 2 nights of just, like, focused gameplay. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually reading the text and can understand what's going on. It's like, this makes the game so much easier. And, well, not easier, but I obviously had a lot more direction because I knew what the fuck I was doing as an adult. But this is another game. It's kind of expensive, to be honest. I don't think there's a whole lot of copies out there. So if you do find yourself happening upon one of these, grab it. I think this game is definitely one. I'd put it on my top 3 PlayStation games of all time. I absolutely adore this game. Again, a game I've never completed. A game I'd like to complete. I know I keep saying I'm going to do Let's Plays, but slightly hard to be doing right now with my current schedule. I honestly am trying my best to see if I can't get something worked out, but can't promise anything for Let's Plays right now, especially with my buddy off at college. Me starting college, or starting my final semester of college in... God, like less than 7 days now. Jesus, that's scary to think about. But get your hands on Digimon World if you can. I've said a lot about it. I've tried to explain as much as I could about it, give you my own personal take. It's a really, really fun game. I don't want to say indie, because obviously it's not, but it has the feel of an indie game in the sense that it's different. It's not the same, first-person shooter. It's not the same platformer. It's not a carbon copy of a different game with a reskin. It's a really unique formula, which they ultimately ended up changing, but I think they hit it right the first time. I think this game is really, really, really worth your time if you do find it. And again, if I ever get the chance to, I would love to live stream this. I'd love to play it for you guys. It is so much fun not knowing what's going to happen. With Pokemon, if I get an Abra, I know I'm going to get a Kadabra, and I know he's going to turn into Alakazam. Digimon World, if I start out with Gabumon, I have no clue what the fuck's gonna come my way. And if I get an Agumon, he has a whole different tree, and I have no clue what the fuck's gonna come my way. And that's only 2 Digimon of like the 3rd tier class. I think there's like 10 that you can get, and then there's like, God, I wish I could, I might even put an image of the tree up in here. I may not, probably not, because I'll probably just quickly edit this and upload it. But just go look at the evolution tree of Digimon World for the PS1. A blank one, if anything, so you don't spoil yourself. But there's so many different Digimon you can get. It's ridiculous. And just that unknown of like, okay, I'm going to do my best with this Digimon, and then you get that gift of like, here's something completely different, I think is really cool. And that's going to wrap it up pretty much for this podcast. I'm going to try and keep these a little bit shorter now because they're solo casts, and not going to lie, it's really hard to talk into a microphone by yourself, whether that's for a podcast or a let's play or, I don't know, singing. I don't do that. I'm not that good at singing. Maybe one day. I don't know. I gotta practice. But guys, thank you so much for listening. I was gonna say watching. If you did watch the short animation of just 2 dudes chatting to each other, good for you. I don't expect you to. It means a lot for those who do like and comment on this video. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. And we will see you ladies and gents next Thursday. Well, this Thursday, I guess, but fuck it. Whatever. See you all later. Bye-bye.